This is Real Talk Baseball and Carlos Baseball. With me, as always, is Ernie Orange. It's a Monday morning before the games start, but I guess we just have one going on. We were supposed to do a recap, but it was Easter Sunday, and we decided to do it this morning. But, we're here. We're going to do it, and a lot of stuff to catch up, right, Ernie?
Yeah, definitely. What a crazy weekend in the MLB. We had a lot of walk-off home runs this weekend, a lot of bad calls by umpires, and what the heck happened? It was just one weekend to remember. This is one of the question marks we ask ourselves. Why are these umpires impacting the game so much these days? And they just happen to be.
Dude, and they have replay. And it's not even working the way it should be working. But we'll get into all that. We'll talk about AL, NL recap, MLB news, and of course AL, NL MVP front runners, which is our main topic of our show. So go ahead, Ernie, take it away with your recap, AL recap.
All right, well, let's get the AL recap started. The first game of the weekend, which is currently going on right now in a 4-game series, is the White Sox versus the Red Sox. The Red Sox have currently won the first 2 out of the 3 games. Saturday's game came down to a walk-off hit by Tristan Casas. And today, this morning, we're having a Patriot Day game from the Red Sox, White Sox. The Red Sox are currently up 2-1. Looks like they may be taking the series 3-4, 3 out of the 4 games. But the Red Sox are getting catching a little fire right now. People are going for their head after there are 3 wins and 3 losses this season against the White Sox. People are saying that these should have been the games they should have been winning. And unfortunately, they have lost 3 out of 6 to the White Sox, which is kind of shocking. Now, next, we have the Mariners and Blue Jays. The Mariners went ahead and took 2 out of 3 from the Blue Jays this weekend in Toronto. The Mariners offensively looked really good this week with Roddy Tellez hitting a home run in all 3 games. He hit a grand slam on Saturday to secure the win. The big Kyle Raleigh, he's doing so well these days. He's also playing really great. But he had a little incident on Saturday, which Jose Berrios didn't really like. It looked like Kyle Raleigh was stealing some signs from second base, and Jose Berrios had something to say to him. So there were some tensions rising there, but the Mariners took the series.
So how is it that they're stealing signs though? Like,
that's the thing.
Yeah, right.
I think Kyle Raleigh was just trying to tell his batter something, and I think Jose Berrios took it personal. He was having a really bad outing, and he didn't seem too happy with it. So It's one of those where I'm not sure what's going on, but I don't think he was trying to steal signs.
Nah, I don't think so either. There's no way with PitchCom.
Exactly. And then we have the Royals versus Tigers. The Tigers went ahead and won 2 out of 3 from the Royals. The Royals' offensive struggles continue, man. It's not looking pretty. It seems like it's Bobby Witt only producing runs these days, and they won yesterday, snapping a 6-game losing streak. So they're sitting at 8-13 right now. It's not pretty. It was a team that was favorite in the AL Central, and it's not looking great. We have the Reds and Orioles. The Reds went ahead and won the series, taking 2 out of 3 from the Orioles. What can we say? Yesterday's game was an interesting one. The Reds went ahead and won 24-2 after being so sorry offensively lately, man. They just feel like they couldn't get their bats going. Yesterday was a different story. The Reds were just obliterating the Orioles pitching, and man, that's Brandon Hyde's message after the game, saying that's embarrassing. It totally was. And if you're talking about this young Oriole team that has a lot of potential, you're clearly seeing that their pitching is a main struggle these days, and it's a major concern going forward. Next, we have the Giants and Angels. The Angels went ahead and took the series, winning 2 out of 3. Joe Adell clear base double, walk-off double yesterday, secured the series. But talk about this Giants pitching staff, man. They're looking great. Justin Verlander went back into time and pitched the gem. The young star Landon Rope and then Logan Webb, their ace. They were dangerous. They all went deep, and it took down to the bullpen to lose these games. But other than that, this Giants looks great.
Were you excited that the Angels came back?
You know what? I turned off the TV to go celebrate Easter. What? I was like, it's over. And we had an Easter miracle, man. It was dinner time, and I said, I think I'm going to spend more time with my family today. It is Easter. I don't see the Angels coming back from this one. They shocked me. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was in the middle of my first bite when I see the Angels decided to win. Okay. I should have had my phone on. I'm really disappointed in myself for that one, for giving up on my team. We had the Padres versus the Astros. The Astros went ahead and took 2 out of 3 from the Padres this weekend. Astros got some timely hitting over the Padres, and Tatis home run secured the win yesterday. And we're going to have some more to talk about him later in the show. But also, let's talk about this Padres bullpen, which was kind of doubted early in the offseason. But no, Jason Adam and Robert Suarez are locked in right now, and they're pitching really great for this Padres team. And that's why they're sitting pretty in first place right now.
Yeah.
Lastly, we have the Dodgers versus the Rangers. The Rangers, they lose 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers. They were shut out Friday and Sunday's game. And there were some controversial calls that did end the game, but the Dodgers still looked like they were the heavily favorites in the series. And the Rangers did went ahead and win on Saturday's game by a Adolis Garcia walk-off home run. That was pretty to see, man. It took me back to 2023 Rangers roster, watching Garcia run down the bases. And lastly, we had the Yankees and Rays. The Yankees went ahead and took 2 out of 3 from the Rays. The Rays also won one game on a walk-off home run by Jonathan Aranda, who's been a special first baseman for this Rays team this year. But this Yankee team looked pretty solid with strong performances from Carlos Rodon and Max Fried that had a no-hitter that the rule got changed later. We'll talk about that later in the show. But there was a lot of drama this week, and, man, it was a lot of good things happening in the American League. How about the National League, Carlos?
Dude, so the National League, if you didn't tune in to watch the Cubs and D-backs on Friday, you missed out on a great game. This game went from low scoring to high scoring at the end of the game, and you thought the D-backs had scored 10 runs in one inning, and then the Cubs came back, scored 6, and then they ended up winning the game. One interesting fact about that, though, is that one of the pitchers that gave up that got the out to get out of the inning for the Cubs to get the W was changed by the MLB. So that's one of the things that we want to talk about at the end. But yeah, the winner is not the pitcher that won that game wasn't the one that was in the game.
I had never heard of that rule.
So yeah, it hasn't happened. I think it hasn't happened since 1908 or 19 something, back in super like early baseball stages. So we'll get into that. But yeah, in that series, the Cubs took 2 out of 3 in that one, and they looked really good. And that's what I was talking about, that it was a really good series, and we can't wait to the Cubs go to Arizona and see what happens there. Possibly a playoff matchup. We don't know, right? So then we got the Guardians and Pirates. Of course, we had the Guardians take 3 out of they swept, of course, and Class A got 3 and 4 saves. So then the other one, he got a W on Sunday. So for you guys that have Class A on your fantasy, that's pretty good. Then we got the Marlins and Phillies. The Phillies took 2 out of 3 of that one. Wheeler got 13 Ks on Friday. He improves his record to 2-1. Remember, everybody was talking about Wheeler. How was he doing? Is he going to be better this year? And he got 13 Ks. So that's pretty good. Then we moved to the Cardinals Mets. The Mets swept the Cardinals. And that one was a little bit of a, surprise seeing Senga pitching 0.7 ERA. He's pitching really good. He improves his record to 3-1. And then we have the Twins and Braves. The Braves are coming off the floor, so they won 3 in a row. Their record improves to a 8-13 and 6 of 4 in the last 10. So that's pretty good for the Braves. The East Coast needs to watch out for these Braves, and I think we picked the Braves to win the division. It's still too early, right? So, wait, that's a question. Is it too early?
No, there's still a lot of games to go.
Right?
Over 130 games left in the season. There's way more enough time these days to still catch.
All right, so let's go to the next one. We got the A's and Brewers. The Brewers took 2 out of 3 on that one. Peralta improves his record to 2-1. His ERA is 1.98, 1.91. That's pretty good for a Brewers pitcher. And I did see the games, but it kind of, I don't know. It's a different vibe, right? When you see different teams, and the stadium wasn't full. I guess maybe because it was athletics, but hopefully fans start going out there and start supporting their teams. And then we got the Nationals and Rockies. They rained delayed on Friday, and they had a doubleheader Sunday. The Nationals took 2 out of 3 out of that one. Frank Gore is leading the league in Ks, so he has 45. So if you guys are out there and looking for a pitcher,
Mackenzie Gore.
Yeah, he's 2-2, 3.14 ERA. And 45 Ks, dude. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty impressive. And that's the NL recap. We had the AL, NL, so now we jump into the news, man. So there's a lot of stuff that we can talk about in the news, dude. Let's go ahead and start with Elly de la Cruz, man. I don't know if you guys saw this play out there, but look at this man jumping. I mean, this is incredible. As a person that plays shortstop all his life, and I see this, it just excites me. Look at how crazy he stretched out for that ball. And everybody's talking about it. I think Elly de la Cruz, when he gets it going and he wants to be the man on the field, these are the type of plays that we're going to start seeing. And not only on the defensive side, but when he does something like that incredible on the defensive side, he starts to turn it up on the batting side. So I just think this kid's gonna be a lot better than what he is right now. And I just wanted to put this play out here, dude, because it's an amazing play.
Yeah, it definitely is. He's a special talent. He had Superman play from an infielder. I actually never seen an infielder fly that high. Did you ever see Derek Jeter do something like that?
Into the stands.
Oh, okay, but Elly
Yeah.
actually flew.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Elly flew to second base. That
Yeah.
was a crazy landing. His height, he's really tall, so the impact he took into his body to actually fly that high was really incredible. He's a special talent, Carlos. This guy could win any type of game. He could beat you with his bat. He could beat you with his speed. He could beat you with his defense. This guy's going to be a future MVP in this league, and he's shown why he is this great player with the Cincinnati Reds, and that's why they should pay him big bucks if they want to keep him for the long term, because he could do it all.
Is he a great leader though? Right now, they're sitting at 11-11. Do you think they still have a chance to catch up to the Cubs? I know the Brewers are right ahead, but they're not ahead by much. And then you have, of course, the Chicago Cubs. And I know this team, it was built to try to win the division this year. So, do you see any improvement with the Cincinnati Reds and Eli playing the way he's doing?
Yeah, definitely. Elly, he's being mentored by one of the greatest managers in the game right now, Terry Francona. He's going to guide him the right way. Maybe he's not fully there, but I think going on the future, he's going to get there. Terry Francona as a manager will find ways to teach these and mentor these young guys and get them playing the right way. They have the great pitching with Hunter Green looking solid, and he looks like he could be a true ace in the game. You have Nick Lodolo that's also coming from injury, and it has potential to be a great pitcher as well. There's special talent in this team. You have Noel B. Marte, a guy that was suspended 80 games last season for PEDs. Was a huge prospect, had a down season after coming back from suspension. And he looks like yesterday he was looking special. He had over 4 hits and looks like he's that talented third baseman they need going forward. Austin Wynn, if I'm not mistaken his name, had 5 hits yesterday in the 24-run game. Offensively, this team is doing great. Austin Hayes also coming in and supporting that veteran cast they need in that lineup. This Reds team is going to the right direction. I don't see them winning the division this year. I think this Cubs team is a little powerful, but I think Terry Francona has them playing baseball at the best level they could do for the city of Cincinnati right now, and they're going in the right direction. And that's what all you can ask for this young team. It's a team that have really huge expectations. They don't really spend a lot of money, but you have the talent to surround this team to win. So this Reds team will be dangerous in the near future.
True. And then Francona, just to add to all you had said already, is that having the right mindset and getting that championship mindset, because Francona has been in the World Series many times and has won the World Series. So having that mindset of not just winning the division, but going all the way to the World Series, and the manager has a lot of power to influence that to their players. So
look at the impact Cruz did to the Rangers
right away, the first year. So it's just managers have an impact on players sometimes that we oversee that, and we only call out the bad calls they make. But when they are doing right, we don't even mention them. So
exactly. I have one more mention.
Yeah.
If the Reds were to go crazy hot in the final 2 months of the season, would you be surprised? Say they go on a 10-game winning streak, they start playing ball really well, and they sneak into the playoffs. Will that shock you?
It wouldn't shock me because they're in the Central. I think the Central is a little bit up for grabs. Yeah, the Cubs are the only team I see that can go ahead and take off with this division because they have a great team. But the Reds can probably sneak in that last spot in the wild card, and it would surprise me if they do it, only because we have so many other teams in the West and the East that are playing a lot better baseball. So It would surprise me. It would surprise. What about you?
I wouldn't be surprised. Talent-wise, they have it, and if they are healthy enough, they could compete. And because injuries are going to come, and that's part of the game. And it all depends who gets hit the hardest with an injury. And you're going to see some teams that are flying high right now just hit rock bottom in the middle of the season. And that always happens. It's part of the game.
It's part of the game. And hopefully it doesn't, because I want to see Elly and the Cruz keep playing. Maybe a potential MVP in the near future. So we'll see. Let's move on to the next one. And that was the Yankee game. And this one was kind of weird that Aaron Judge hit a bomb to left field. And it looked like the ball did go fair ball. Have you guys seen the video here? You be the judge of it. And they went to replay and they didn't get the call right. Now, Why do we have replay if you're not going to get the call right? The ball clearly went right. What is it? The foul pole. The foul pole was. I mean, you can see it straight up. Like, what the hell? I honestly don't know how to defend this or say like, oh well, the umpires could have done this, or I don't know. They called New York and they still got it wrong. Like, and I honestly feel like why aren't they looking more into this stuff? Because it's not just the only play that we've been seeing, not getting changed or not turning into like something different. Because I know when they make the call, they have to have reasonable doubt to change it, right? So
Exactly.
that one was clear, dude.
Okay, that's a clear home run, right? You have
Yeah.
the video footage. It's there. I don't care if it has to take you 20 minutes to decide this call. Just get it goddamn right. That's all we care as fans. This is Judge's 8th home run this season. It got taken away from him. He definitely deserves this home run. Why can't they change this scoreboard? Carlos, let me answer me that. You are
Yeah.
able to change scores to other parts of the game, like the max free no hitter. But why can't you change the Aaron Judge? Why can't you review this play 100 times and say, you know what, that's clearly a home run. We should change the score. I know you can't really do that, but then statistics wise, you should be able to give Judge that home run. Now you're hurting his stats for his Hall of Fame career. You're impacting his MVP now because he has one less home run than the leader these days, Tyler Soderstrom. It wasn't oh man, I'm really upset because the
Yeah.
umpires really screwed and made a huge impact in this game to yesterday's for the Yankee Rays.
Yeah.
And then Aaron Boone let him have it because the following pitch, Aaron Judge struck out. And it was kind of a 50-50 striker ball. Aaron Boone was not having it. He got his 40th ejection yesterday of his career. He let the umpire have it. He knew that he was in the wrong. And, but what these umpires can do, I wish they could come out and explain what their thought process when they were reviewing this play, or what is New York thinking? Because as fans, we're watching these games, 162 games a year, and to see some crappy calls, it makes you really upset because you're investing this much time into the game to watch them screw it up.
That's true. And that's where I feel like these minor league stadiums are not holding up for the professional baseball. Because if they're going to use the excuse of like, oh, you couldn't see because of the trees, like that's not an excuse. You still have cameras, you got a better angle. The angle that we're showing here, you clearly see the ball cross, through for a home run and not even near the foul pole line. So where were your umpires? You have an outfield umpire, you have a home plate umpire. Why not reunite, get together, see if it was foul or fair? If you're calling a foul, then go ahead and review it. Because if you're not seeing a clear ball go over the fence and clearly away from the pole, why not change it? There was clear evidence for that. So remember, the Blues don't make the call right there and then. They go ahead and call New York. New York makes the call, and then the Blues in the stadium, they call it out for everybody to hear what happened. What is the call at the end? But I just feel like maybe the umpires are, I don't know. We've been talking about the umpires every week now since we started this season, and it seems like it's a theme. What's going to happen next week? Are we going to see another debacle, another thing where they get the right call and then they reverse it? Because there's a lot of plays this weekend that it looked like it was out, and then they keep it the same way. And there's enough evidence for stuff like that, like the foul ball, dude. For instance, the Dodger game in Texas, there was a hit ball down the line, and it crossed the line to go to foul ball, and then it crosses back in before the base. So a lot of people are saying it's foul ball. A lot of people are saying it's fair. So I just feel like maybe that play right there could have gone either way. But when you look at the evidence, and then I wish I had the video, it does touches the corner of the base, and it goes fair ball. So that if it was clear over the base, then of course it's fair ball. And it was fair ball. They called it that way, but it looked a little bit like it was foul ball, right?
That one was a bit suspicious. You could have taken it either way. It was a 50-50 call, to be honest. At the end of the day, Josh Young just had to run to first base. He didn't run. He just kind of gave up on the play, just watched it thinking it was foul. It went back into the field. That, as a player, you just have to be ready and should be going to first at full speed at all costs, knowing that that's the last out of the game.
Yeah.
So that falls on him. No matter what you think. If it's foul or fair, that one was, it's 50-50. That Aaron Judge one, though, they better do something with that those left field poles, yellow foul poles, they need to get fixed. They need to be taller. They need to make it clear for future games going forward that, hey, this is a clear foul ball or a clear home run, because this cannot continue to happen in this game, especially when you have so much technology involved these days.
Yep. There's no excuse. Let's go to the next one, man. And this one, the umpires did not change it. It was MLB that changed it later on, and Ernie had talked about it earlier, so we'll play the video.
Here is the 2-2. On the ground, right side, and this one comes up on Goldschmidt.
Wow. This was an interesting play. For those that were watching the game yesterday, Max Fried was actually having a no-hitter going into the 8th inning. Originally, the call was called that Paul Goldschmidt had an error. So they had it down as an error. Later, the MLB decided to change the scorecard and call it a single. Ooh. Yeah. It ruined Max Fried's no-hitter then and there, changing the call. And what the hell was this about? You should get it right then and there. But after further evidence, they saw that Chandler Simpson, a guy that just got called up from the minor leagues, who had 100 stolen bases last year, Carlos. He's one of the fastest guys in the MLB these days. And according to evidence, he was going to beat the bag to Max Fried. So no matter what had happened, even if Paul Goldschmidt would have had to make the play, he was never going to get the tag on time to get Chandler Simpson out. So they called it a single. What are your thoughts? Is this okay to change the call 2 innings, like an inning later, and they screw this guy's no-hitter? If I was Aaron Boone, I would get a double ejection for that one.
Yeah, I think Aaron Boone has every right to be mad, because when you're in front of a ball and you miss it, that's an error. No matter if the runner's going to make it a first or not, you still have to make that play. Why? Because you still don't know the unknowns. What if he would have tripped and fell down? You know, you're not going to call that an error, right? Running to first base, I mean. If he's running to first base, he trips, he falls, he doesn't reach first base. Those are the unknowns that needs to happen. And these people need to understand that when you're in the little leagues or you're learning to play baseball, you make an error is an error. You get in front of it, it's an error because you don't catch the ball. You have a fly ball and you miss the ball, even if you don't touch it with your glove, that's an error, because those are expected plays. This is an expected play. This is an expected out. So you're putting the unknowns or not putting the unknowns into this factor and making a hit. I don't think that's fair, man. I think that they got the wrong call again, and MLB changing stuff around like they do. It just sucks. Why they didn't change it back in the days when that perfect game happened in Detroit? They could have changed it, but they didn't. But
Armando
yeah. Exactly.
Armando Galarraga.
Yeah. Galarraga.
Yes, that part are killing me.
Yeah.
You're right. That should have been changed as well. And if you're able to change the scorecard, just like you did Max Fried's no-hitter, you should be able to change it for Aaron Judge too.
Yeah.
And it wasn't going to impact the game anyway. The Yankees had it in the bag all around. They were pitching lights out offensively. Pitching-wise was great, and offensively their bats were just cooking. There was no reason why this couldn't be. This should have never been changed. End of story.
No.
I'm just really upset about it.
End of story. Yeah, and I just don't like it. I mean, I know maybe the Yankees they have I guess a stigma or something that they're not going to cover first base. I don't know. That's a low jab. That's a low. What do you call it? Low hit. No, yeah. All right. Let's go to the next one, man. In yesterday's game, it was the game of the week. The Padres and the sorry.
It's that morning show, Carlos.
The morning show. The Padres and the Astros were the game of the week, and there was something crazy that happened, and we'll show you the video here.
Arráez, there's a bunt to the first baseman. Walker flips, and look out, a collision between Arráez, who's down, and Mauricio Dubon. News about his condition.
So Arráez got, pretty much taken in the ambulance at the end of the game. Not the end of the game, but during the game, and he didn't look right, man. It's crazy. They put him on a stretcher. He did put his thumbs up and everything. It looked like he wasn't moving his limbs at the time. And of course, right now, as the news comes in, he already rejoined the Padres. He's moving, he's walking, he's talking, he's doing everything. So not sure if he's going to play today, but it's a good sign. When you see an injury out in the baseball field, it's a big concern because these guys are huge. They're athletes. And, a lot of people think, baseball players, they're not They're not as fit as others, other sports, but they are. They're
Yeah.
really, really fit. And maybe this is one of the things that MLB needs to start looking at, because we do have the double base. Is that something that MLB should start looking at so we can stop these injuries?
Yeah, this was definitely a freak accident. I'm not sure if the double base would work. I mean, it will prevent injuries, but I'm not sure if fans will like it. And that's the main question there. It
Mhm.
was definitely a freak accident at first base. Something I never seen. I never seen a guy go on a stretcher like that. And
Oh,
it was a really scary moment for the MLB, because if anything worse could have happened, dude definitely would have been talking about this double base going forward. But
yeah.
prayers to Luis Arraez. I hope he's doing great out there. He's a great player, all-star caliber player. Hope
Mhm.
he could bounce back and find his groove again and be back soon, because he deserves it. He's that huge impact in that Padres lineup. A lot of people online were saying that this was a dirty play by Mauricio Dubon. What are your thoughts? It was full speed. I don't know what more he could have done to prevent this accident. It was a
Yeah.
freak accident. The way the ball was coming towards him, he kind of blocked the first base play, and that's where the collision did happen. But man, to call Mauricio Dubon dirty, that is just wild. The guy had no intentions on hurting him. You could see clearly after the collision that he checks up on him, makes sure he's okay. Please take that out of your minds. There was no dirtiness involved in this play. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts, man?
I don't see no dirty intentions behind all this. You're if you do that and you try to stop someone from running, uh you're in the risk of getting hurt yourself.
Exactly.
You're not putting your body in front of someone that's coming full speed into you to try to hurt them. In that case, then Dubon would have got hurt as well. He didn't get hurt because he was positioned a little bit different, but he did get hit as well. So I don't think that's right, that fans are just looking for a scapegoat and trying to say, oh, well, they're going after Luis Arraez. Like, no one's going after him. No one's trying to pitch at him. No one's trying to hurt this guy. I think MLB is respectful when it comes to that. Unless you have a grudge, a pitcher hitter grudge, you know what's coming. They're gonna take one in the ribs, of course, and that's old school mentality. But when it comes to base paths and going to first base, getting in the way of stuff like that, I don't see it, man. And no one's gonna want to get hurt. Like, it's especially like two teams that are trying to. I don't know. This could be a World Series matchup. A lot of people were talking about that. Why would you try to ruin that with trying to get in front of a player coming full speed? I don't see it, dude. I just don't see
Definitely.
it. I don't see it. And I did see a lot of comments, dude. A lot of people are saying that, oh, I've seen a lot of harder hits than that will take me out. And I'm like, dude, you don't know if his chin went down, or he got knocked out, or he got his wind knocked out of him. We don't know all those full details. But he probably hit him in a way that it hurt him. He fell to the ground, and then they took him on the stretcher. So that's a crazy scene in itself. When kids see that, because I used to see that back in the days when outfielders didn't call the ball and they collided, and you saw some big dudes colliding against each other, and then they took both of the players in stretchers. Those were scary. And that lasted like 20, 30 minutes out in the field, because sometimes they were unresponsive.
Oh,
So to see things like that, it's scary, man. It's really scary. So I'm glad he's okay. He's doing good. And, hopefully he does come back to the Padres and start hitting again, because the Padres do need him, even though, you have Tatis in that team and he's the only, one-man show right now, which is pretty crazy. There's another play, though, before we start talking about that. And I'll play the video on this one as well.
He's asking for time here. He's in pain. Time.
After review, the call on the field is confirmed. The runner is out. Pittsburgh loses the
wow.
Yeah.
That's a terrible play. This is Pirates third baseman Emmanuel Valdez. He was running on getting a triple. It looks like he hurt his shoulder or his arm. He was trying to ask for time, and they still called him out. You clearly see the video there where the third baseman Valdez is grimacing of pain, asking for time, and they don't respect them. They just clearly say, you're out. Sorry. That was a wrong call too, Carlos.
Yeah.
Even though the Pirates are not playing that great these days, that impacts the game definitely. And you taking out a triple away from a guy like that, that's crucial.
It is. But then you have to understand the other side too, like the fielder. if you see the fielder and he's looking at the runner coming back to third, you as a fielder, would you be like, okay, he looks like he's injured, I'm not going to tag him out, I'm just going to be kind of like when you do the FIFA, they do the fair play, right?
Yes.
You know, does that go into effect as a fielder? Do you see him and he's grimacing, he's like getting back to first, he's trying to call out timeout? Do you take advantage of that? That's another thing you got to look at, because I understand he didn't get the timeout and they called him out. I think if he was hurt, which he was, clearly was, he could have screamed it out and say timeout or something, because it doesn't look that way. I mean, like I said, well, we weren't there. We don't know if he did or he didn't. But then as a fielder as well, if I see someone getting hurt, I think I'll be like, you know what? I'm just going to put my glove down and attend to the player. And I don't know if that was a situation where Ramirez at third base, if he didn't see that or he just wanted to get the out. We don't know, right? And everybody says that, you know, Ramirez is a good guy. He's one of the guys that plays around. He's really joyful. He's really a really good guy, like I said. So
don't get him angry, though. Don't get him angry.
Because he'll knock you out.
Yeah.
I would like to have him on my side fighting other people. So, but yeah, dude, like, do you think that's a factor in the game? Do you think that's something that should be kind of be like, look at as well? Like, hey, you know, he's injured. Should I put my
you're
glove
totally
down?
right. And then think about it. That's a great point, Carlos, because fair play should involve in some type of way. I think just Ramirez and the umpire did not notice that Valdez was hurt. I think he was in such big pain that he was not able to ask for help or not able to say, hey, man, I'm hurt, asking for time. I think he was just grimacing so much in pain. Have you ever been in pain that you can't even talk? Yeah. That's what Valdez was going through. I think he was just hurting and he couldn't even speak or call out the umpire's intention. So it's one of those where the umpire has to be more, you know, visual and start looking at, hey, are these players really hurt or not? You know, and after watching the video, there's clear evidence that he was in pain. You could have to give him the benefit of the doubt, you know?
Yeah. So
Chicks Loves Baseball is asking, should he have used his other hand to ask for time? What are your thoughts on that, Carlos? And that's someone that was hurt, you know, so
I don't know which one was hurt. Was it the right hand that was hurt or the left hand? Because the left hand looked like it was behind him and it looked like he couldn't move that one.
So the right hand was the hand that was hurting.
Okay.
And he used his left hand to try to get their attention and moved it out the back. And that's where he called out.
So I know when I hit myself with something, I'm like, you know, it hurts. And I start jumping, I start running away from the pain, you know, like if pain's going to stay behind me, no, the pain is coming with me if I run. So the same thing comes here. I think the same thing applies. Whenever you're hurting from whatever you're hurt from, like let's say your arm, you're going to try to use the same arm too, to try to see, all right, it does hurt. Like, you know what, time. So at the time, this thing happened so fast that he probably didn't even think about it. He just felt like, you know what, I'm hurt. Can you please call time? I need to get off the field. It really hurts. And it just, you know, the game was there was no time on it. So I guess that's why they called him out. And as a rule, it is an out. You know, you can't blame the Blues for it. But as a player and as a human, maybe there needs to be a little bit more to say, hey, let's stop the game. He is hurt. We're not going to count it out. We need to, you know, get this player out the field. So,
sure.
You think, you know, he could have used the other fan? I mean, from your experience,
he could have. He really could have. I mean, even if you were in pain, you could have found a way. But you know, what if he was lying? You never know.
You never know. We'll never know, dude.
What he was acting an injury. What he was using like a soccer play. You know, these guys just really get touched and they throw themselves and act like they broke their legs. And in reality, they just see him in 5 minutes scoring a goal. You're like, wait, wasn't this a guy that was crying for a foul ball? Now he's scoring a soccer goal. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe Valdez was using the old trick, you know, old book in the playbook these days.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. All right, let's move on, man. And this is where we talk about what the title is about. And we'll start with the AL. And hold on. Up. All right, there we go.
Well, we're there.
Cool. Yeah, sorry about the glitch. It's too early in the morning to do this. We normally don't do it in the morning. All right,
you need your coffee or what? You need your coffee.
We need the I do have the coffee right here. So I mean, it just hasn't hit yet. All right. AL MVP front runners, and there's no surprise here with this guy. Aaron Judge has just been killing it. 390, 7 home runs, 25 RBIs, OPS of 1.202. Man, is there a surprise in this one?
There's not a surprise to anyone. I think he's a clear favorite. He's a clear front runner these days. They are guys with more home runs like Tyler Storterson, Kyle Raleigh, but they continue to strike out a lot. Judge, on the other hand, he makes a huge impact in that lineup. And it kind of shocks me because I thought Soto leaving the lineup, I thought he would struggle a little bit more. But no, Judge looks really powerful and up to plate, has great plate discipline these days, and he continues to rake that ball, man.
Yeah.
Do you see anybody competing against him?
To be honest, dude, like when I see these stats, he's one of the top hitters in the AL. You put NL players in there because you have to keep the MLB all together, and not until the 5th spot, which is Jonathan Aranda, which he's been doing pretty well these last couple of weeks. It's just, are we looking at batting average? Are we looking at home runs? Are we looking at base percentage? What is it that we're looking at? And when you combine all those things with being a leader for the Yankees, because remember, you've said this a lot of times with the Yankees, Judge dependency. And this Judge dependency, if you remove Judge from that team, what is that team going to do? So he's an MVP in all those regards when you talk about the player itself. Now, do I see anybody there? No. I don't see anybody in the AL taking that reign from Judge. I just think Judge is the front runner at this point right now, and I don't think he's gonna, unless he gets injured. That's the only thing I see Judge not winning MVP right now.
You're right, and Judge is doing it any type of way. He's getting singles, he's getting doubles, he's hitting the ball far. Should be 8 home runs after yesterday's incident.
Yeah,
even his fielding has been actually pretty good. Surprisingly, this Yankees team has been playing really well around them. The torpedo bats are maybe making a difference, but Judge surrounding this team is only helping the other young core players like Austin Wells, Anthony Volpe are playing much better because of think Judge being surrounded by him and getting that help they really need. But man, Aaron Judge is that one special talent, and he's going down arguably as the best Yankee player in this era, because he's a scary dude. Every time he's up to bat, he has every possibility of hitting it out, and he's a dangerous hitter.
True. Now the other one, let's go to the pitching. Tyler Mahle. Did you expect this guy to be what he's doing today? He did pitch against one of the toughest lineups yesterday, Sunday, and that's why we have him on here. He is leading the ERA 0.68, and after what I saw yesterday, this guy is mixing his pitches, keeping the fastball up, throwing, hitting his corner spots. I mean, I know the umpire helps out a lot lately, but this guy is doing it, dude. Are you surprised about this one?
Yeah, it's a huge surprise because this Rangers team is looking scary. Their pitching staff is looking nice. You thought Jacob deGrom would be this guy with those stats, but it's actually Tyler Mahle, a guy that had to overcome a lot of injuries. Like you said, his fastball hitting high in the corners. He's really dangerous. Seems like he has all these hitters fooled. And he looks like he's an early front runner. Can he continue the whole season like this? It's a possibility. You see these pitchers, when they're feeling themselves, Carlos, they're dangerous for a whole year, and they can't be stopped. And I think Tyler Mahle is that guy. He proved it yesterday against this Dodgers lineup that he has what it takes to go to be that true ace the Rangers team really needs. Jacob deGrom was supposed to be that guy, but I think he's just dealt with so many injuries. And only when he's fully healthy is he that potential guy like Mahle is right now. So that's a nasty 1-2 duel going forward for this Rangers team. And then you add Eovaldi to the mix. So this is great for this Rangers team. And that's why they're the clear favorite for the AL West right now, because they could beat you offensively or they could beat you with their pitching. And Bruce Bochy knows what he's doing because he's a manager that gets the best out of his players.
Yeah, and the hitting's not up there as well either. Like, they're not clicking all the way. We saw this weekend, they got shut out twice, and Adolis Garcia did hit that home run on Saturday to get the win. But when you look at this pitching staff, and we got to see deGrom, we got to see Eovaldi, we got to see Tyler Mahle, and if all of them are clicking, which they did pretty good. deGrom did really good as well, and Eovaldi did really good as well. So when you have those type of pitchers, and then you turn as a young player to these guys to mentor you, to say, hey, how is it that you're throwing your fastball up and in, or how is it that you're changing speeds? Evaldi has won World Series. DeGrom has been in the World Series. He knows how to get there. He's been Cy Young. Evaldi's been there. He's a veteran. So having these veterans on your side can turn into what Tyler Mahle's doing right now. So it's really good that Tyler Mahle's doing well, because we've seen him struggle in the past seasons. And for him to do it is still a little doubtful, because there's still a lot of games to go. But if he continues this path, the Rangers are going to be a team that you better watch out for, because the 1-2-3 punch, it's not just a 1-2. You're adding that third, and that's going to be crazy, dude. So, man.
This Rangers team is dangerous. And then you add Kumar Rocker, Jack Leiter, young stud pitchers that you have coming from college recently, and they already look like young studs, and they're all pitching great. Kumar Rocker's been in a little rocky start, but he's still young, man.
He's still young.
A lot of days for him to develop and be that ace they need him for him to be.
And Jack Leiter as well. He's another one, dude. It's like it's crazy for the Rangers not to win that division, but it's too early, like I said. But these are your front runners in the AL. Let's move on to the NL, and I'm going to go with this one. Ernie, go ahead and start, since you've been calling it before the season started that this man is going to win the Cy Young.
I talked to you in the offseason, and you asked me, who do you think would be the Cy Young candidate? And I'd say Yoshinobu Yamamoto would be that guy. And, at the time, people would probably think I was crazy, but, this guy did get paid $325 million for a reason. Mm-hmm. He is that guy. He has the nastiest stuff in the game. He has a 6-pitch arsenal to his game. He has a nasty fastball, a splitter, a cutter, a sinker, you name it. He has it all on his weapons. He could beat you any type of way. This guy is 3-1 right now with an ERA of 0.93, fourth in the MLB. He has 38 strikeouts, a whip of 0.86, tied 10th in the league. He's beating batters any type of way, Carlos. He is that guy. He's the only pitcher right now that has not allowed less than 20 hits, has over 35 strikeouts, and he continues to be dominant game in and game out. He's only allowed 5 runs all season in 5 starts. And what can we say? His last 3 starts, he's not even allowed a single run.
Yeah.
Are you impressed by Yamamoto? Even though he pitches once a week, it's been like, I feel like every time I see him in the mound for those Dodger games on Friday night, it's must-watch TV, because he's going to be lights out. He's a true definition of an ace. And Dave Roberts just said on his post-game conference the other day that he is the best pitcher in the National League he sees right now. There's guys like Hunter Green, Paul Skeens that are looking great too, but nobody matches Yamamoto's talent these days.
True. And don't forget about Kodai Sengai. He's doing pretty well as well too. He's pitching at 0.79 with the Mets. So it's just injuries are what's going to be a factor here. And then pitching once a week, could that be a factor as well moving down the season? Because if you're only pitching once a week, and that's kind of lowering your number of games you're pitching, it could kind of have an impact on you winning the Cy Young. So I do see this man having a run for the Cy Young. I know they asked him earlier in this week, because he's had won it before in the Japan League. They asked him, what are your thoughts on the Cy Young? And he's like, oh, it could be fun. I'm going to make a run for it. So if he's doing it, he's ready, he's locked in with the Dodgers and being the ace that he is right now, it's a great thing, dude. So I kind of agree with you. It's just the thing is injuries. That's the only thing and only downfall that can happen to Yoshinobu Yamamoto, because last year he was dealing with that shoulder injury. He did pitch in the World Series, but was he pitching with that injury? And we don't know, right? So maybe this year he's just feeling better. Maybe that extra rest day, which is 6-man rotation, maybe even moving to the 7-man rotation once Kershaw come back, once Ohtani starts pitching for the Dodgers. So once a week, I don't know. It could potentially hurt him, dude. Or am I wrong?
Or it could also help him stay healthy for the rest of the season, which these Dodger pitchers desperately need the most rest they could get these days. Every time you hear about Dodger pitcher going down, you start to panic. So you want Yamamoto rested once a week. It's just good enough. He does have 1 loss this season. He didn't get no run support from that Dodgers roster that day. So that loss doesn't really fall on him. He gave up 1 run and then lost the match. It's those close matchups. Like They're really
Yeah.
good. And it's upcoming Friday. You will see Yoshi going against Paul Skeens at Dodger
Yeah.
Stadium. Must watch TV. He's going to prove then and there that he is better than Skeens. I mean,
Hey,
Skeens is up there too.
Yeah.
You can't bash on the kid. He's really
No.
young. He's super talented. But, I think Yoshi is just a bit more experienced right now. He's a little bit older. He has pitched in the Japan League. He's also pitched in the World Baseball Classic and dominated there. So Skeens is going to be obviously that guy for the Team USA going forward. But I think Yoshi just edges him out right now based on experience.
Dang, that's crazy. And just want to add one more thing, dude. Do you think that this guy here is ready to take on being the best pitcher in the MLB? Because that's a lot of pressure as well. If you take the I guess the team, like, Aaron Judge, I don't know if we mentioned it before, but Aaron Judge is going to be the team captain for United States, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's another added pressure for him, trying to win that WBC championship. You already have it with the Yankees. Now you're adding more to it. So him having that throne and being the top pitcher of the MLB, it's responsibility as well, right? So you think he's ready for that?
Oh, I think so. And I think he's ready to take this other responsibility I want to mention. He could be the first Japanese pitcher to win the first Cy Young. No Japanese player has ever won the Cy Young, and there's been some great Japanese pitchers in the past. Yeah. You're talking about Nomo. You're talking about Daisuke. Masahiro Tanaka. There are pitchers that deserve to win, and they didn't. They fell short, and I think Yamamoto could be that guy this time around and prove that the Japanese is a little bit special when it comes to their talent.
Yeah.
They have some great players out there.
Yeah, that's true, man. And he can be that leader. So we'll leave it at that, man. But for right now, they're the front runner. So let's go to the next one. And maybe a lot of people won't agree, but when you see this man on the field, he just lights it up. It's must-see TV. We've talked about how Soto, would you change the channel to see Soto at bat? Or would you change the channel for Fernando Tatis Jr.? I would change it for Fernando Tatis Jr. Why?
Really?
Because that man, when he steps on that plate, and I've said it before with other players, with Ronald Acuna, when he stepped into that plate, if this man steps in Dodger Stadium's plate, I know something special is going to happen. He's either going to hit it out of the stadium or hit a little dribbler, make it all the way to second, or something crazy like that, dude. Because this is much watch TV. And we saw it yesterday in the game of the week on ESPN. So he's clearly, to me, the front runner. To a lot of people as well, but to a lot of people is not. And with a batting average of 358, 8 home runs, 16 RBIs, OPS of 1.128, dude, this guy is clearly the front runner. Do you agree?
You're totally right. He could beat you any type of way. He could beat you defensively. He proved it yesterday, how defensive plays he could do from the outfield. He could steal bases. He's right now arguably the best leadoff hitter in the game with power. He has the speed, the power. He can get any type of base hit. The plate discipline is completely there. He's locked in this year. He's showing that he's the early front candidate for, the MVP, which is kind of shocking because you're a guy that we expected him to win the MVP back in the day. But after his PED incident, you kind of question if he would ever be able to find himself back again.
Yeah.
And do you think this PEDs really hurt him? Because now, can you really give an MVP to a guy that's been caught with PEDs in the past?
Dude, and you know what? I was going to ask you that question, but good thing you asked me because I'm ready for that question. So I don't know if you guys remember when Matt Kemp got pretty much, he was supposed to win the MVP in 2000, I want to say 2014.
Yes.
When Braun won it. And it came out later. 13, 14, one of those years. And then it came out later on that Braun was caught with steroids. The numbers say different, though. The numbers say that, Matt Kemp was almost a 40-40 guy. He had 39 home runs, 40 stolen bases. He could have been that 40-40 guy, but his numbers just proved to be one of those numbers where if he was out of that lineup, would the Dodgers be even making the playoffs that year? If he was out of the lineup, would the Dodgers be having the record that they had that year? And with Braun, because you had so many other factors, and of course, he kind of died off at the end of the season. He kind of died off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I honestly feel like steroids has a lot to do with it. It does, but he already, had an 80 game suspension. He came back. He had injuries. He's doing a lot of things in the community in San Diego. He's helping out a lot with his team, which is if he's out of that lineup, And if he is not in there, I think the Padres are not playing the way they're playing now. He's a leader. So, yeah, I think steroids are away from it now that he is trying to prove himself again and trying to establish himself again. I think he's in the right track, dude. And yeah, a lot of people are going to say, no, he's not going to be an MVP, but he's giving a run for it, and he's showing it out in the field, dude. So, if Braun would have come the following year and done that, then it would have been more respect towards him, but he didn't do it, dude. So this man is, and I think he deserves it, dude. I think he deserves another shot. Why not?
Yeah.
Do
He's
you agree?
26 years old. He's 26 years old. He could prove and change his career around and show that he is still that Hall of Fame type player, even with the steroids or not. He could still provide you with these numbers. He's obviously going to still get tested. He's going to prove his innocence now going forward that, hey, I'm not taking PEDs and I'm still able to get these numbers. I'm still that talent guy. It's funny. He had a report with Bolster Oni where he asked his dad this offseason, the senior. He asked his dad, hey, do you think I'm a great hitter? And Tatis Sr. told him, not yet.
What?
He told him, you need to work on your plate discipline.
Whoa.
And that's something he's been working all year. Think about this. Tatis Jr. is way better than his dad.
Oh, yeah.
And for your dad to tell you, you still have a lot to work on, that's wild.
It is. And I know why he's doing it. Because the dad sees the potential this kid has.
Yeah.
You know, even me as a father, like when I see my kid, I don't glorify his successes because I feel like it is crazy, dude, because I feel like there's more that he can do. And I've seen it in practice and I've seen it in some other places. And even it happened with me. My dad never celebrated my successes until this one game that we were down and I hit a grand slam, dude. I've never seen my dad so happy and so proud of me that since, you know, I've never got that glorification from my dad. And I don't know if I'm the same way with my kid. And maybe this is the way senior is with junior, you know, like senior is just saying, you know, plate discipline is one of the biggest things in the MLB. And if you conquer that, you're going to be the best that ever played the game, because that's what Soto is saying. That's what Machado is saying. You know, all these players that are winning great big money is saying that Tatis is going to be the greatest Dominican Republic player that ever played the game, dude. Possibly, period. Possibly ever to play the game. So we're witnessing greatness. I think if you're a fan of baseball, forget the rivalry, forget all the other stuff. Make sure you guys appreciate this, because we wasted so much time on saying that Barry Bonds was on steroids and we avoided, you know, success, and we avoided seeing those games because we had that stigmatism of saying he was on steroids when everybody in the MLB was on steroids, dude. So I think we should just take advantage of this as well, because we have Ohtani as well. You know, like I don't think people should hate on that either. Tatis is just one of those players, dude, to me, and I think it should be to a lot of baseball fans.
Yeah, this Padres team is looking great this year. They're 16-6, sitting in first place, a half game up on the Dodgers. It's still early, but who would have thought that this Padres team would look this dangerous or so early on? And Tatis is definitely the huge impact in that lineup, batting leadoff. With these numbers, he could overtake this MVP season easily. Ohtani is kind of like having a quiet season to start the year. He'll catch on fire later, you know, it's part of the season. It's a long season, but Tatis, the way he's playing, man, it's beautiful to watch that guy play. And like you said, it's must-watch TV. So tune into some more Padre games, because the fans will tell you that he's that special player too.
Yep. And he is, dude. And not only that, but yesterday, I don't know if you saw the game of the week on ESPN, that they were booing him out in Houston when he hit that home run. So if they're booing you, you're doing something right.
That was a nice shot. That center.
That was a nice shot. That was really nice. And then he did the bat flip, and then, you know, let's go. So you want to see this with these players. And I know there's a lot of antics that happened last year and this year. And I mean, that aside, I mean, the baseball player himself, is just the numbers he's producing is great, dude. Going back to the Juan Soto thing, since I mentioned his name. There was a walk-off that happened with the Mets, and Lindor hit it out. Friday night. He hit a home run to win the game. And everybody was talking about how he was not there celebrating with his teammates. Is that a big concern for you?
You know, for him, he probably just sees it as another game. You know, it's just a walk-off. It's a great moment, but you got to remind yourself earlier in the day, the New York Mets fans also were cheering Juan Soto after his slow start with the team. They were trying to do the Trey Turner effect on him, and it worked. He was able to bring in a run and tie the game to go to extras. But it's kind of shocked me. Juan Soto is a happy guy, and lately he's been really quiet. He seems off with that Mets uniform. And, I was reading, I think that incident in Dominicana where a lot of people unfortunately passed away at that nightclub, I think it really has impacted him. I think he's mourning all those people's losses, and I think he just wants to be in peace and not really celebrate, So I don't know. I think he just hasn't talked about that incident, but maybe down the road he'll bring it up and say what's going on with him.
True. And just to add, when you're a player that's not from the United States and you're playing baseball at the highest level, it's not the same as you were born here or you live here all your life. It's crazy to me that how some of these players still produce well when they're out of their country. And maybe he's going through a phase like you said, maybe with all the stuff that happened out there in Dominicana, he wants to be there. He wants to help out, and he can't because he has to, has a commitment with the Mets. And for a player to do those type of things, and the fans, you got to give it up to the fans too, because he has kind of been struggling a little bit. You kind of see, is he a Met? Is he going to be a great Met in the future? I mean, they locked him up for that big old contract. He's not going anywhere. So. Yeah. It's just so many factors, and dude, like I said, I don't know if you've seen the Red Sox documentary. I talked about it last week, and it shows you how the player, has his own struggles besides baseball, and that's what Juan Soto might be having as well. So it's crazy, dude. There's a few games. Yeah, sorry, it's crazy, dude. It's a few games that he kind of looks like he's in it, and then there's a few games that he's really completely out of it, and It's just crazy, dude. It's really crazy to me. So, yeah. We'll leave it at that, man. Anything else we need to add?
Well, I think he'll bounce back just fine. It's Juan Soto. He's that special talent. He's off to a slower start. Change of scenery, change of side of town. You probably get a lot of backlash for leaving the Bronx Bombers and going to the other rival team, Mets. New York fans are a little rowdy out there, and they're not too happy he went to their rival Mets. So, because when you're a star player, you're supposed to stay with the Yankees. You're supposed to be that guy with the New York Yankees. But what? He chose the Mets, a team that has never won anything. There's no way, So definitely that pressure in New York, he's probably feeling it.
Yeah, he is. And
it's also cold weather. Have you seen him with little sweaters? He's been cold.
God. That could do it for you too. I'm in a bad mood because I'm always cold. I'm always wearing these long sleeve. Yeah. And then for those of you guys that say that he could have took the Durant way, he would have stayed with the Yankees. He didn't do that. He decided to go and test his knowledge and his baseball wisdom with the Mets. And the Mets are doing pretty well. So there's a big series coming up too, the Mets and Phillies this week. So I'm excited to see that as well, to see what the Phillies have, what the Mets have. Potentially whoever comes out of that series on top is going to be in first place. I know the Mets are in first place right now, but let's say the Phillies sweep, you come out of first place in that one. So it's going to be a great series if you want to talk about series. And then there's another series that you might want to keep an eye on. You have who else is playing? There's Dodgers Cubs. That one starts tomorrow, so that one's a pretty interesting one as well. So yeah, man, it's going to be crazy. If you guys haven't hit that like, go ahead and hit it now. If you haven't hit that subscribe and you're new to this channel, this is what we do. We're live. We usually go on Sundays, but because it was Easter Sunday yesterday, we came on Monday morning and we're talking baseball. It is a live show, so if you put your comments on here, we'll go ahead and put them on and read them for you. But yeah, Ernie, last mentions, man, it sucks. Every time we about to log off, everybody starts jumping in.
That's right. Well, if you're just really jumping in, make sure to check our show today. We had a really great content where we broke down all the bad umpire calls for the week. We're series recaps. We also talked about the front runners for NL, AL, Cy Young, and MVP front runners. There's a lot to talk about these days. So I hope you guys continue to watch the show. Watch from the beginning. We'll really appreciate it. Hit that like and subscribe. We got great content going forward every Sunday night at 7 o'clock Pacific time. We hope to catch you here. But don't forget, also check out our fantasy baseball show every Thursday night with Will Power and John Murrow, where they break down the big picks, best waiver pickups, and guys you need to pick up to win that fantasy league, man. Carlos, thank you for having us on today on a Monday morning. This is a special, beautiful day already. I'm going to enjoy this West Coast weather. But everybody tuning in, I hope you guys watch the remaining of the show.
Yeah, man. And if you guys haven't done so, like I said, go into other social media platforms. We have a TikTok, we have Instagram, Facebook, and we have X. So hit us up. We'll answer your questions. And, you know, like Ernie said, we have the fantasy portion of this. There's been guys that won the championship with John Merrill and Will giving advice. So I would test that. And if you want to test us on our baseball knowledge, because it's good to get tested sometimes, right, Ernie? Like, we just want to be on top of our game as well. So you can test us as well and hit that follow button on all our platforms. But from all of us here on Real Talk Baseball and Carlos Baseball, this is Ernie Orange. Real Talk Baseball, signing out.